I couldn't believe it. I woke up, all these social media posts with his picture saying that this is the alleged shooter, and I just couldn't believe it. He was overall a nice kid. He was quiet, but he was nice to me whenever I talked to him in class. He was a good student. My history teacher loved him, so he was always the first one to know answers to a question. He was always getting good grades on tests, everything like that. He was very passionate about history.
The FBI is supposedly still hard at work trying to find a motive. But hear me out here. She says that Thomas Matthew Crooks was really passionate about history. Is there a possibility that Thomas Matthew Crooks' motive was to go down in history? Was he such a history buff? Was he so passionate about history that he wanted his names written in the history books? And make no mistake about it, folks, his name will be written about in history books if this country lasts long enough to print history books in the future. But imagine if there was a different outcome Saturday. His name would be forever linked to Donald Trump. His name would be out there forever. Your grandkids' grandkids would read about him. But a lot of his classmates have been speaking out about him. I know at first they tried to go with the bullying routes, but that didn't really stick because a lot of the other classmates are speaking out and they're saying that that's not really the case, even though Thomas was kind of like a more quiet, reserved kid. In fact, here's one of his classmates speaking right here. Madison Rudolph, age 17, was in Crooks' computer class despite their age difference, and says that he was part of a small friend group that she described as outcast, with strange hobbies, the details of which she could not remember, but she recalled that they wore nails as accessories. So his outcast group, they wore nails as accessories. What kind of nails is she talking about? Like, do they have nails around their neck like a necklace of nails, or does he have his nails done? Let's go forward. Crooks' high school experience coincided with the global lockdown, and Rudolph noted that he was further ostracized for continuing to wear a mask long after the mandates had been lifted and student life resumed a semblance of normalcy. One friend recalled that during the time of remote learning, Crooks would not put on his camera when joining classes on Zoom. Crooks was not a member of any high school clubs, teams, or groups, in stark contrast to his older sister, who was a popular and far more outgoing student, acting as both a school custodian and a member of the school yearbook team during her time at Bethel Park High. Crooks graduated from high school in 2022, but was listed as absent from the senior yearbook pictures as he had been before the year before. He recently graduated from community college with an associate degree in engineering science this spring and had been admitted to both the University of Pittsburgh and Robert Morris University for the fall. So it's kind of weird that Thomas had plans to go to college. So these plans to do what he did, I mean, was this something that was in his mind when he was applying to college? Was this a new scheme that he just, came up with, recently before the Trump rally? I would really like to know how long was he planning on doing this, because hearing that he was accepted to these colleges, it looks like he actually had a future ahead of him, a future that he was working on. But he threw his future completely away, and I don't know why even go through the effort if you were planning on doing something crazy anyways. But there are new videos surfacing of Thomas in school, and I want to show you one of those videos right now. And also keep in mind, folks, this is a crazy story. There's a lot of crazy videos and photos coming out that I cannot show you on YouTube. So you need to be following me over on Twitter. I am sharing nonstop updates over there as well. And I'm mostly talking about stuff over there that I can't talk about here. So go follow me over there. I'm going to roll this clip of Thomas from school, and then I'll be right back with more.
Hey, don't drop that dirt. White means you're just... Doesn't Patano have one?
Okay. Give us back. I'm upset.
There's more like specialized colors. I forget what you did. I think you have to be with...
Dude, no way. Did he actually vacuum seal Granny?
No, because like... I think you know he's original light, but it was big.
You know, so far I've been hard at work trying to keep you all up to date with all of the details and all of the information that is coming out. But please, allow me to speak from the heart for just a moment. You see, this isn't my only channel. In fact, this is like my 5th YouTube channel. I cover stories, I cover different tragedies all the time. And every time when we finally see the photo of the suspect involved in one of these tragedies, it always gives me this feeling inside. I'm sure some of you all know what I'm talking about. You see, the photos of some of these suspects that committed these crazy crimes, and the photos kind of give you that weird, icky feeling. You can sense the evil in the photos. You can see the deadness behind the eyes. You take one look at that photo for just a few seconds, and you know that that person isn't all the way right. You look at that photo and you can feel it inside your soul, almost in a way. It just gives you that icky feeling. When I look at these photos of Thomas Matthew Crooks, now I know these photos of him are of him when he was younger, but that's always the case in stories like this. When I look at these photos, I don't get that feeling inside. Don't get me wrong. I do believe that Thomas Matthew Crooks is the suspect, but there's something about it that's just not sitting right with me spiritually, and I can't quite put my finger on it. But when I look at photos, even when I say the guy's name, there's a part of me that I don't know how to explain it, but there's a part of me that just does not really register him as being the one that's really behind this. Sure, he maybe pulled the trigger. Sure, he was the suspect that was on top of the roof that day. But there's something in my soul that just tells me, hey, I think the reason why I'm not getting these feelings and emotions from looking at this guy and talking about this guy in the way that I do with all of these other suspects from these tragic events is because in my heart, and in my soul, I do not feel like he's really the one behind it. Don't get me wrong. I feel like he did this. But I feel like there's someone else to blame. You know what I mean? I feel like there's something more here, and I guess that's why when I look at this guy, I don't view him as the true evil, even though what he did was evil and he's probably an evil SOB. I feel like the real evil is in the background pulling the strings. So when I look at him and when I think of him as an individual, I don't look at him or think of him in the way that I think of some of these other people who did crazy things at schools and stuff like that. But you let me know if you feel the same down in the comments below. And you let me know what you feel about all of these details that I provided you all here in this video. While you're down though, please ring that notification bell so you can be notified of my next upload. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, if you find yourself getting too worked up, it's all just political cinema.